Welcome back to week 5 of The Artist Way with Julia Cameron. I am Nadia. I don't think I've ever introduced myself when I started doing these videos, so I apologize for that. But this week has been quite journey. I noticed that week by week it gets really tough because you're still confronting things. You're still confronting trauma. You're still confronting what people have said to you, or even your own self, even your old self, like the thoughts, the judgments. You know, this is not an easy course. This is not a book you just read chapter by chapter. You actually have to read the chapter and do some of the tasks. But I do want to say, and I do want to put this out there, that last week I was at a online workshop with my former professor that I had for one of my courses 2 years ago, or I had it for two courses, but I had it for 2 years ago. And she had said something last week that I thought was a very good reminder is that whenever you're given an assignment or a task to do, it's okay to not do certain ones, especially if you don't have proper support around you to do those things, right? Sometimes we are not in the proper space to confront what it is we need to confront within the assignment. So it's okay to take a pause and say no and pay attention to what you feel. It's okay to have boundaries for yourself as you work through this course. It's not to say you're never going to do the tasks that you had to turn away from, but it is very important that you look after yourself. And if you want to do this course with a registered therapist, I recommend that because I had some therapy, as well, just to get my head on straight, to kind of just see some of my stuff that I had going on, and it was really helpful. But just take your mental health into consideration as you do this course, and pay attention to how you're feeling, because yes, I think Julia Cameron in the books does say if you're resistant to it, you got to pay attention to it, and she's kind of right. But you got to be careful of how you're feeling in that moment. um, I try to do at least 5 tasks each week, but I think, there were moments where I did at least about 4 for the week, even though I do the artist way from Monday to Friday as like a full time job, because I have the time to do that and the scheduling to do that. But I think it's just very important that you take care of yourself. Really take care of yourself. I gotta just say that because it can get you very vulnerable. It can take you to places where you didn't really mean to go yet. You could be very emotional, that you need extra support around you. So make sure that you're safe. Make sure that you have good support around you as you do this course, depending on where you're coming from and what you've been through already. So this week was about possibility. Now, what is possibility? Well, it means what kind of things do we enjoy? Like, how do we see life? Do we see life as rigid, or do we see life as open and that there's more than one possibility for everybody, right? And there's enough success in the world for everybody. Everybody has a space where they belong. It's just finding out where you belong, and that may not be always easy. Um, and this week taught me that you can let me just backtrack a bit. So one of my favorite tasks for this week was the wish list exercise. And so what you had to do was write down everything and anything, big or small, that you wanted to come true. But I figured, hey, instead of me just writing it down, what about I take the small ones and turn them into achievable dreams? Can I make that happen? Well, thanks to the love and support of my boyfriend, one of those dreams came true. And then the other one resided in my intuition. So I wanted to have a stronger intuition. And something happened in my building, so it came true. So there was that, and just realizing what is possible for myself. So It's just very important to keep your options open. Whatever idea that you have in your head, go for it, explore it. It doesn't mean that it has to be a new career move. It could just be a new hobby. I also recognized this week that I was always a very creative kid when I was growing up because my mom, she knew how to draw everything and anything she saw in front of her. She was able to look at the image or look at the thing and draw it, on a piece of paper. I'm learning how to do that, but back when I was a little kid, it just seemed very natural for her. But I think what had happened is as she got older and as she proceeded through life, because she was a really young mom, she had me when she was 19. Um, as she proceeded through her life and went through some really difficult things, and still is to this day, she lost sight of her creativity. So I've been trying to encourage her to get back into drawing because it's such a healing experience and she's really good at it. And again, it wasn't just for me, it wasn't just, arts and crafts. It was my imagination. It was me playing alone in my room and playing pretend, playing with my, stuffed animals. It was all of that. Now, the siblings that I mentioned in, I think, my last video or the video before that, I can't remember, is my half sibling. So between my mom and my dad, I'm an only child. Um, so there's that. So I had to use my imagination a lot for adventures and reading books and, just entertaining myself, finding ways to entertain myself. So there was that growing up, but I'm really excited to get back into that childlike spirit and embrace that because as we get into adulthood, we forget that because we're swamped with all these responsibilities. For my artist date, the way that I've approached them week by week is just doing some creative every day. Because of my disability, it's very hard for me to get outdoors. It's not an easy thing for me to do. Um, and so there was that. But it's still beneficial. I'm doing as much as I can. I'm connecting with other people that are doing this course, and I'm still grieving my old self. It still hurts. It still hurts, but I've invested some of my money in some of the spiritual tools that I can have to soothe me as I go through this transformation. And it's painful, but it's empowering. It's understanding who I am because for the longest time I probably didn't realize who I was. Again, I keep telling people I was always the girl behind the camera, like editing videos. I was never the lady that was in front of the camera talking like this. Um, and some of the things I invested in because of the artist way was this beautiful bracelet. So this is called Angel Light, and as the name implies, it's to help you have a stronger connection with God, angels, or spirit guides, whatever it is you believe in. And it's really been helping me. I actually took a nap yesterday with this on, and I was able to have a very, very restful sleep in such a long time. So there was that. I was really excited to get this. This is also on my wish list for it to come quicker. And I ordered it from Etsy. So if you're ever like in the mood to support small businesses, try Etsy because they have a lot of cool stuff, especially notebooks and all these different things. And what was funny was that I realized how important it was for me to have things that were aesthetically pleasing to the eye so that I can feel motivated and inspired to work with them to have a stronger connection with that item. So, for example, for my morning pages, I've been using my laptop, but I've been looking for some better notebooks and journals, and I found a couple of them. I found one on sale, and I said to God, I said, Yo, I said, okay, I'll make a deal with you. In a couple weeks, if it's still there on sale for a reasonable price, I will buy it as an early birthday present. But I won't buy it right now because I think the artist's way has made me a little trigger happy in terms of my spending and being a little bit excited, overexcited, and impulsive a little bit. But at the same time, it's really helped nurture me. So there's the other side of the coin where I feel nurtured and I'm actually paying attention to myself and what nourishes my soul. So it's not for nothing. It's just I gotta be a little bit more careful um, with that part, but it's gonna be okay, guys. It's gonna be okay. But yeah, so I just put the brakes on a little bit, but I have been noticing what I need is actually really accessible. And if I really want pretty things, Etsy is a good place to go. Um, there's a lot of creativity there, and it can really boost your creativity and support other people that are making a living trying to do what they love to do, which is create things. So I love that. I love that about Etsy. So if I do get a notebook, I will come back, I will film it, and I will give you the links in the description of the video in the near future. So yeah, there's a lot of positive changes. I think I look a lot different than I when I first like compared to when I first started doing this series as a little bit of a test project for my YouTube channel. I look at the difference. I see the difference in myself. I look happier. I look healthier. I look brighter. I look good. I look good, and I'm really happy with that. So, just embrace if you guys are doing the program. Just embrace it at your own pace. There's no rush. Um, and everything's going to be okay. You're going to get to the other side. And I think one of the reasons why I'm mourning myself so much and the people that came with that and friends and how things have changed, is that I realized who I really was. And it's vulnerable. It's vulnerable to see that you're letting go of the illusion of who you thought you once were. And it can be very scary and very painful. The unknown is very scary because we don't know the outcome of that. We don't know who's going to come in our lives. But a few synchronicities occurred, and I bumped into somebody on YouTube that's actually from my college, but from a different generation. So it's really cool to see the connection. She studied at the same college that I did, the same campus and everything. So it's really cool to see another alumni from my school. So it's really heartwarming, and no matter how old we are, we could support each other. So I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe and take care of yourselves. I'm sending you guys so much love. Bye bye.